Here's a recipe for disaster. You want to write this down? Here's an amazing recipe for disaster. You mix 1 part employee shortage with 2 parts rising prices due to inflation, and you pour all of this over frayed emotions due to COVID, and you have a toxic brew that's impacting everyone in America. So joining us to discuss this issue along with possible solutions is customer service expert Sarah Buxbaum, who owns a hospitality company, CWS Hospitality. Sarah, hey, thanks for joining us this evening on KMOX St. Louis.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, I've been looking forward to talking to you, Sarah, because who doesn't go get fast food or deal with retail people? We all do. We do it all the time. And yet fast food workers, I mean, they've just long borne the brunt of misplaced anger from customers. But as of today, Sarah, is it actually getting worse?
Yes, it's definitely getting worse, unfortunately.
Well,
it's a lot.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. I think it really is coming down to entitlement at this point. It used to be, the masks and the no masks and all that. And now it's the fast food workers. They're the people who are getting hit really hard right now. And it's unfortunate. It's people treating other people really poorly, and it's unacceptable.
It is. And in my day job, Sarah, I'm an attorney, and I represent actually a lot of fast food companies that I won't name here, and several retail places as well. And I got to tell you, I've seen countless surveillance videos over the years, but I've seen more in the last 2 to 3 years than I've seen in the previous 10 to 15 when it comes to customers starting fistfights with employees, throwing stuff in the store at the employees. The cops show up, and then it looks like an episode of Cops on Fox. But I guess my question is, for example, how does inflation and rising prices, how does that play a role in escalating tensions at the retail sales level?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone needs to understand that everybody is affected by this. This isn't a millennial versus Gen Z, baby boomer, or man versus woman or whatever. This is everyone is suffering right now because of inflation. The food is costing more, gas is costing more, rent is costing more. Everything is expensive right now. And I think that's one thing we unfortunately can all relate on.
Sure.
And we all have to be a little bit more, give a little more grace. I mean, no one's trying to, do anything miraculous. I think these employees especially are just asking for some patience and respect, and unfortunately they're not getting it. And it's really creating a lot of problems because it's unacceptable that people think they can act like this. And I really think it started during COVID when people felt protected by their masks and they were yelling at each other, and now the masks are off and they're still acting like that, if not worse. And I'm embarrassed that
yes.
I've been in customer service for 18 years, and I love this. I love people. I love creating good experiences for people, and it makes me sick that I'm popular right now because I'm trying to just spread kindness
Sure.
and teach people.
Thank you.
Remember what you learned in kindergarten.
Exactly. Exactly. We're talking to Sarah Buxbaum. She's a customer service expert with CWS Hospitality. And Sarah, in one of the cases with my clients, I had to interview some of the store employees, and a fight broke out because a customer was talking about the rising prices. And you mentioned that a moment ago, but the customer was talking about how much this was costing to buy a particular product. And so they wanted a freebie. They said, if I'm paying this much for this product, I want you to give me something else here. And in exchange for the higher prices that they were paying. Is that something that you've seen, that customers feel entitled to something extra because they're paying so much more for goods and services?
I mean, I think it's honestly very ironic that people feel that that's the solution. I mean, businesses are struggling right now with food costs and labor costs and everything. So these type of people who want even more, while these businesses are barely surviving, is just, no, you get what you pay for. If you want a cheeseburger, pay for a cheeseburger, and understand that the meat is a little bit more expensive right now. And if you don't want to pay for it, eat something else. This idea that we want more even though we're not paying for it is going to put, I mean, a lot of small businesses, I'm a small business owner, we've already barely scraped by the last
Yes.
few years. These restaurants, it's the same thing. You know, we're just trying to make ends meet. And for people who don't understand that and they're just expecting things for free and more, I mean, yes, you should expect good service and you should expect to be treated with respect. But I don't think this idea of give me more is that they obviously don't understand the situation that we're all in right now, or they wouldn't
obviously
be expecting that.
Yeah, obviously. And you're in this business, and I haven't checked this recently, but I think it was as of last month, there were 11.3 million open jobs in America. I mean, most companies are so desperate for new employees that the only qualification needed is a pulse. But having said that, how does that shortage, when there's a shortage of employees, how does that impact the employees who are still there when it comes to retail sales, whether that's fast food, whether that's a five and dime stores, Target, Walmart? How does it impact those employees who are still there when those companies are so short-staffed?
I mean, they're really under pressure, and a lot of people who I talk to who are still working in these jobs are picking up shifts because people aren't showing up. So they're already working overdrive, and, you know, they're working because they need to be at work to pay their bills. And it's great that some people can just not work. I don't really understand how that works out for them. But by these people not wanting to work, and who can blame them, honestly? I mean, this is what I keep talking about is if people don't start treating people better, there's not going to be any places for you to go. There's not going to be any place for you to call because no one's going to want to show up and be treated like that. And so I really think that if businesses start closing down again, they're going to learn that maybe we shouldn't have said that. Maybe we shouldn't have done that.
Well, you touched on something, Sarah, I want to follow back up with you on. We're talking to Sarah Buxbaum, customer service expert with CWS Hospitality, and you mentioned this anger and hostility. Have you gotten a sense in your line of work, you've done this, you said, for 18 years now, but have you gotten a sense that for some reason that customers are increasingly feeling like it's okay to emotionally abuse workers or leave messes or treat people harshly or rudely? Have you noticed that?
Yes, it's heartbreaking. I mean, like many small business owners especially, we put our heart, our soul, blood, sweat, and tears more than anyone will ever see. And for people, especially, I mean, when I see an older person yelling at a teenager, it's heartbreaking to me because we can see what's going on. But we can see that especially millennials right now are struggling. Do we want to show them that this is what it's like to be employed and have a job? No, we want to encourage them to make a difference in this world. And we want to encourage, like, this is crazy that people are getting meaner by the day. I've never seen so much of it. I see it in my business right now, and a ton of other small business owners, that people are firing their clients because they're like, I'm not going to be treated like garbage. And they're finally putting their, the foot down. But unfortunately, a lot of people can't do that. Most of us need as many customers as we can get.
Yes.
And so sometimes we just have to deal with it. And it's sad, and it shouldn't be like that.
Well, what can customers do, Sarah? And we're talking to Sarah Buxbaum, but what can customers do to improve that purchasing experience or to make sales or interactions with employees to make it go more smoothly? What can customers do about that?
Say thank you. It's so simple. Just don't yell at these people who are working so hard to show up for minimum wage to come and serve you. I think we need to all practice a little bit more patience, a little more gratitude, and a thank you. I got thanked I was on the phone with Southwest, and I had a big issue. I was delayed on the back end and the front end of my trip, and I was nice to the agent helping me on the phone, and she thanked me. And I was like,
wait, she thanked you?
She thanked me for not yelling at her. She said I was the only person that whole day who had called and didn't yell at her. Why would she show up to work the next day?
Right.
It's crazy to me. And when I heard that, it kind of got me fired up, which is why I'm talking about this on social media almost every day now. Just say thank you and be nice. It's like, forget all that. We're all stressed.
Yes.
Give a little bit more grace to these people.
And you mentioned about kindergarten, but my goodness, the golden rule comes into play here. And I'm not talking about he who has the gold makes the rules. I'm talking about doing to others as you would have others to do unto you.
Yep. I say that every single day. It's like, if you're going to go out and start yelling at people, then you should probably expect to get yelled at back. Because people now, especially after being locked down, and I mean, everyone's life is different now than it was 2 years ago. There's no way around that. And everyone is, I mean, I'm glad more people are standing up, and I'm glad that these employees are saying enough. Stop yelling at me. Stop throwing drinks on me in the drive-thru. I'm just here working. You know, it's not even about money, because we've seen these companies offer these employees raises and bonuses, and they're like, it's not about money. We don't want to be treated like garbage. Exactly,
or like property. They want to be treated with respect and dignity, like everyone wants to be treated.
Everyone wants.
Exactly. Well, Sarah, this is your business. This is your area. Tell us a little bit about CWS Hospitality, and also how can people reach out to you if they need your help in these kinds of situations?
Yeah. So the CWS stands for Celebrate with Sarah, which was my first company. And so Celebrate with Sarah is still my website and social media, so people can find me on that. But I started working in customer service when I was 15, so about 18 years ago. And I really just wanted to up-level the standard of what people expect. So every business that I have, everything I do, I always say I treat my customers like people, not transactions. And I'm friends and family with a lot of customers who've been with me in all different businesses that I've had over the last 15 years. And it's because I treat them with respect. I'm serious. People ask me how I grew this business, and I wrote thank you cards. I am grateful, and I show appreciation for people who choose me over something else. There's no magic sauce here.
You know, I'm laughing, Sarah, because that's the message that my wife drills into our daughters, that if you want to stand out, send a note. Nobody does that anymore. Send a thank you note, and they'll remember you forever.
It goes so far. I mean, when I started my company, I had $6 in my bank account. I had just been through a really bad business. I was, partners with some people who really didn't do the right thing, and I walked away and I ended up with nothing. I had $6, and I started my first business, and the only thing I could think of to be different was to just be myself and be appreciative for the people who wanted to hire me. And I handwrote them thank you cards, and I was young at the time, and so people were shocked. They're like, one, my generation doesn't write thank you cards, and most people don't write thank you cards, but especially, the millennials or whatever. And they were shocked. And I'm thinking, I picked up a 10-pack at the dollar store. This cost me,
It cost you next to nothing. Hey, Sarah, we're coming up here on the clock. How can people reach you if they need your services to help their businesses?
Yes, tell them to go to celebratewithsarah.com. Find me on social media, Facebook and Instagram, and I'd love to keep helping people, and we need to spread this message as far as we can.
Very good. Hey, Sarah Buxbaum, thank you so much for joining us this evening here on KMOX St. Louis.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it's great to talk to you. Hey, we're going to be coming up on CBS News here in about 10 seconds, because you know about the shooting in Tulsa, you know about the deaths.